Engine Trouble, RK Narayan, about the author. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Narayan, 1906-2001, better known as RK Narayan, is thought to be one of the stalwarts of Indian writing in English. He, along with Raja Rao and Mulk Raj Anand, established the genre of Indian English novel in firm grounds in the first half of the 20th century. His first novel, Swami and Friends, was published by Oxford University Press in 1935. The novel is set in an imaginary town Malgudi, which later became the setting for almost all of his works. His second novel was Bachelor of Arts. His other significant writings include Malgudi Days, The English Teacher, The Financial Expert, The Man-Eater of Malgudi, etc. RK Narayan was born into a middle-class family of the Tamil Brahmin caste, a notably intellectual and creative group within India's system of social castes. He was raised in the city of Madras in South India and was cared for largely by his grandmother, whose stories are said to inspire much of Swami and Friends. Although writing was an uncommon career for Indian men of his time, his family was supportive of his choice. Narayan also broke away with tradition by deciding to forego an arranged marriage and instead choosing his own wife. However, she died of typhoid fever in 1939, only 5 years after their marriage. Narayan raised his one daughter on his own and never remarried. Swami and Friends was Narayan's first published book and was championed by the English author Graham Greene, Narayan's friend and mentor. Narayan went on to publish 15 novels as well as a memoir and numerous essays and short stories, and he also became an activist for causes including environmentalism and children's rights. Novels of RK Narayan. 1. Swami and Friends, 1935. 2. The Bachelor of Arts, 1937. 3. The Dark Room, 1938. 4. The English Teacher, 1945. 5. Mr. Sampath, 1948. 6. The Financial Expert, 1952. Waiting for the Mahatma, 1955. 7. The Guide, 1958. 8. The Man-Eater of Malgudi, 1961. 9. The Vendor of Sweets, 1967. 10. The Painter of Science, 1977. 11. A Tiger for Malgudi, 1983. 12. Talkative Man, 1986. 13. The World of Nagraj, 1990. 14. Grandmother's Tale, 1992. At this juncture, you are advised to read the short story Engine Trouble, in original to have a better understanding of the story, as the summary is just for reference and cannot be taken as a substitute for the original story. Summary of Engine Trouble. The short story Engine Trouble, taken from the book An Astrologer's Day and Other Stories 1947, is written by RK Narayan. The story depicts the troubles of a commoner as he wins a road engine as a lottery prize in a fair. Though the story is about a commoner, yet it has a universal appeal which we will discuss in the critical appreciation. The story starts with the description of an Indian fair where there are all sorts of fun activities, including gambling and sideshows such as the Dome of Death and the lottery stall. The protagonist of the story bought a lottery ticket numbered 1005 and soon he found out that he was declared the winner that day and became the owner of the road engine. He felt himself to be too lucky and his friends also congratulated him for becoming the owner of a road engine. After the initial euphoria of winning a road engine, the problem was to claim the prize and take it home, as there was no one who could drive the road engine and take it from the fairground. So the problem started, and after repeated requests, the showman agreed to keep the engine on the Gymkhana grounds till the end of their season. In the meantime, the protagonist tried to make all efforts to take the engine out of the fairgrounds, but all his efforts were in vain. The man met the municipal authorities and the secretary of the club to sell it out, but no one showed any interest, as a road engine is of use for a select profession and no one would naturally like to buy a road engine. Soon the fair was over and the municipality ordered him to remove it from the ground, otherwise they would charge him rent. The ordeal of the protagonist took a nasty turn here, as he was not financially stable enough to keep on paying rent. The problem starts to gain more momentum, as to pay rent he had to pledge a piece of jewelry belonging to his wife. At last, a solution came to him through the priest of the local temple, who decided to help him by offering him the services of his temple elephant that can dislodge the engine with the help of other men. So, He engaged 50 coolies to push it from behind and a dismissed bus driver to steer it, and it was decided that he would put it in the field of his friend until he finds an appropriate buyer for it. A huge crowd had gathered to watch the scene of the removal of the road engine. The engine came out of the Gymkhana ground and ran straight into the opposite compound wall, destroying a part of it. The owner of the compound wall slapped the protagonist in his face and the police arrested him. When the protagonist of the story was released from the lockup, he found several problems waiting for him, as he had to build up the compound wall and pay the wages of 50 coolies that he had employed to move the engine, Joseph's fee, medical treatment of a knee of the temple elephant which had hurt itself, as well as to move the engine out of its present station. He felt as if he was surrounded with difficulties from all sides. He did not have any solution for the same and not even enough money to deal with all these. Moreover, with all these problems surrounding him, his wife also threatened to leave his house. When such upheavals were storming the life of the protagonist and he had no solution, out of blue, a Swamiji appeared to come as a relief for him. Swamiji wanted to do an act by rolling the road engine over his chest. Swamiji's assistant has been trained to move any kind of engine. The engine was lent to him and Swamiji was ready to perform the act when the magistrate issued an order prohibiting Swamiji to do anything like that inside their jurisdiction, as it was illegal and dangerous. Swamiji became furious and left the place in great rage. When all human efforts seemed to have come to an end and there was no relief for the protagonist, the talkative man, nature, came to his rescue in a manner which is unthinkable. An earthquake happened and the engine moved from its place and fell into the mouth of a well and fitted it just like a cork to a bottle. It was a disused well and the owner agreed that he would pay all the expenses that the engine brought to the protagonist. The protagonist sighed in relief as he finally got rid of it.